Speaking of Ferguson, and there's a lot of trouble in Ferguson right now. I wouldn't myself want to be there. I certainly wouldn't want to be a black man in Ferguson today. And I was listening to the news about some more tension, some more things that were going on in Ferguson the other morning, and I had a thought. You know how in the comic books they have those alternate universes? You know, the ones where everything's flipped around, like Superman's a bad guy and Lex Luthor is a good guy and everything's backwards. It's an opposite universe, polar opposite to everything we know. I wonder if there's an alternate universe where there's a Ferguson that's full of white people and the police force is entirely black and they go around beating the crap out of white people and shooting their kids. Now, bear with me here, because if you're going to follow this through, in our world, that'd be taken care of right away because, you know, the establishment jumps right on the oppression or attacks or whatnot on white people. They take care of that right away. Not so fast with black people. But if we're in the alternate universe, this is entirely polar opposite universe, and the town of Ferguson is full of white people. The cops are all black. They're like KKK black cops. And they're shooting white folks, shooting white teenagers, unarmed white teenagers. But because it's a polar opposite universe, you don't have an establishment that's not okay with that. The establishment is black. The black folks are in charge. Black folks are running things. They're calling the shots. Just like white society is calling the shots in our universe. So the question becomes, would it be a totally opposite polar universe? The black folks are calling the shots, and they're okay with the white folks getting beat on and getting shot, and the white teenagers, unarmed white teenagers, getting killed by black cops in polar opposite Ferguson? Or would it be a society where it's more progressive? Would the black people in control of society in our opposite, polar opposite universe, would they be a more advanced society than we are? Would they be less accepting of such racism and intolerance and hatred? It's a good question. They might be. It's entirely possible they might be. What if they were black folks from our society transported to the alternate reality? So they'd already had our reality of oppressed black people, racism, had to live under that. Would they rise above and be better than that? Or would they turn the tables and get their licks in too? Would they get their payback? It's another question to consider. You know, people in general, regardless of color, regardless of black, yellow, red, white, whatever color you are, we're all still people. We all have the propensity for some pretty bad shit. We see that every day in our world. We see that in Ferguson. We see that in the Middle East. We see that with ISIS. It's going on all the time. But in our alternate reality, would it be different? What do you think?